and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, Ray Theberge, the chairman of the Quincy Friends of Scouting, stops on by to talk to us about the recently completed Camporee that drew over 1,000 scouts here to Quincy. First, though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's beautiful, lots of sunshine, it's kind of breezy. Brisk right now, 56 degrees, but temperatures will climb to around 60 this afternoon. A bit of a breeze as well. Chilly night again tonight under clear skies. Lows drop off into the lower 40s, and then we launch into a spectacular stretch of weather for the next several days with sunny, warm days. Temperatures at 70 or better right through Monday, and clear, cool nights as well. There is not a drop of rain in the forecast through at least next Wednesday. So enjoy this Indian summer type weather for the next several days. Again, we have sunshine, 56 degrees here in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, those raises that were approved for the mayor and city councilors in Quincy earlier this year won't take effect until the next election cycle. This past week, Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch and City Council President Ian Kane issued a joint statement saying that they were deferring the salary increases until 2026 for city councilors and 2028 for the mayor. Koch says the decision was made to avoid the distraction caused by the issue.
Continue to focus on important issues that the city's facing. It's becoming a real distraction. So City Council President Ian Kane, and I know he discussed it with his body, and myself, we talked the end of last week and both agree we'll just put it off till the next term. So that should hopefully put an end to it for a bit. Of course, the council term ends, in the 2-year term. The mayor's term is a 4-year term. So I think at this point that was the best we could do with it.
Earlier this year, the City Council approved an increase for the mayor from $150,000 to $285,000, and for councilors from $30,000 to $44,500. A citizens group called Adjust Quincy was formed to protest the raises, saying they were exorbitant and were done without proper public input. The mayor says the increases will not be retroactive and that the original ordinance has already been codified. The money that was approved for the raises in the current year's budget will be put back into the general operating fund. City of Quincy has spent $100 million over the past 7 years on road and infrastructure improvements. It has completed about a quarter of the work that needs to be done. This past week, Quincy DPW Commissioner Al Grazioso outlined a plan to spend another $41.5 million to continue making road, water, and sewer improvements across the city.
Sometimes it's a little bit slower dealing with them because we'll get our water main in and then we have to wait for them to replace their gas main. We've got several grid crews throughout the city, but we got to push them all the time, and sometimes they do hold up our jobs, but it's important that it gets done. If you just, for an instance, we pave a road, if we don't replace the gas main and they get a grade 1 leak, under DPU regulations, they have to come in and dig the road. We have no control. We can't say no. So, and you've seen in the past that some roads have gotten dug up, and it's maddening to us when that happens. So it's very important that we try to work with them, and if they need a new gas main, let's get it replaced.
$12 million of the funds being requested would come from the general fund, with the rest coming from enterprise accounts for sewer and water projects. The funding requests were put into the City Council's Finance Committee for further review. Quincy Planning Board reviewing a proposal from Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch to create new zoning that would encourage the development of 55 and over housing for Quincy residents when Eastern Nazarene College closes at the end of this year. During a public hearing on that plan this week, some residents did voice concerns about traffic, parking, and flooding that any new developments on that 21-acre campus would create in that residential neighborhood. Ward 5 City Councilor Dan Minton says no decisions will be made without public input.
Eastern Nazarene College has been a great neighbor. When I was 10 years old, we were playing in the barn, which was their gym, playing basketball. They were always receptive to my kids using the library, and it's sad to see it go, but this is where we are. Tonight, there have been many options, many ideas. This is the first meeting. I just learned about this last night at the city council meeting. There will be many more meetings, but really, there's nothing really solid to talk about tonight because we're just going through the planning stage. As we get closer to having a formulation of ideas, working with the mayor's office, they will work with me. We'll have community meetings, and we'll have input. But right now, it's just too early.
Planning Board will make a recommendation to the City Council about the mayor's proposal to rezone. Then the City Council will hold public hearings on the future of that property. Early voting for the November 5th election begins in Quincy tomorrow. Early voting will take place tomorrow and Sunday in the gym at the Central Middle School from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Then it'll move to Quincy City Hall beginning Monday and running right through November 1st. With a two-sided ballot due to the 5 ballot questions this year, City Clerk Nicole Crispo is advising voters to be prepared when they go to the polls.
There are 5 questions on the ballot, so my suggestion would be to read those questions, know your answers ahead of time. It'll make the process a whole lot easier on you coming in. There are information about that on our website or on the Secretary of State's website as well. quincyma.gov. You can go on and go to elections and find all the questions there, and also on the Secretary of State's website. The sample ballots are there, so you can go on and take a look at them.
October 26th is the last day to register to vote in the November 5th election. October 29th, the last day to request a mail-in ballot. Crispo says she has sent out over 15,000 mail-in ballots so far and has received over 2,000 back. Mail-in ballots are due at City Hall by 8 p.m. on November 5th, and there is a ballot drop box located right outside City Hall. Crispo still predicting a turnout of anywhere from 72 to 80%. Yesterday was Priscilla Bonica Day here in the city of Quincy. Mayor Thomas Koch issued a proclamation declaring October 17th, 2024 as Priscilla Bonica Day in memory of the Quincy High School star student athlete who died last year at the age of 20 after battling brain cancer. Quincy Ward 1 Councilor Dave McCarthy read that proclamation at this week's City Council meeting.
Priscilla Bonica was born and raised in Howes Neck, the daughter of Erin and Stephen Bonica, and the sister of Adam and Mally Bonica. And whereas Priscilla attended Quincy Public Schools, graduating from Quincy High School in 2021 as captain of the basketball, softball teams, and a standout on the volleyball team. And whereas she was an inspiration to her family, friends, her teammates, and her entire community for her perseverance, her work ethic, and the compassion she showed others throughout her years. And whereas Priscilla was the very personification of the word teammate, leading by example, never quitting on the court, the field, or in life, and making everyone around her better in ways large and small. And whereas her courage, her spirit, and the passion in which she lived life will remain as a shining example for our community.
Bonica wore number 10 on the softball team, number 17 on the volleyball team, and number 24 on the basketball team, making yesterday's date special. Bonica's parents, siblings, and other family members attended this week's event at City Hall. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, Ray Theberge stops by with a scouting update here in Quincy. That's next. Welcome back. Did you happen to notice about 1,000 scouts roaming the city of Presidents last weekend? It was the Scouting Camporee that was held at Pageant Field and various other locations across the city. So Chair of the Quincy Friends of Scouting, Ray Theberge, is here to tell us What happened? Hey, Ray.
Good morning, Joe.
The city,
Great to see you.
Yeah, the city was invaded by
Absolutely.
scouts.
We loved it. We loved it. Yeah.
Camporee was what it was called, right?
Sure. A camporee is typically a couple of towns or regional collection of scouts, typically for a weekend, for a short period of a few days. A jamboree is a national or world level event. So that's the difference between camporee and jamboree. We did have some vocabulary issues.
Learned something new already.
Learned something new. There you go.
Had there ever been such an event in Quincy?
There had. There's actually a long history. I found an old brochure from exactly 60 years ago, 1964.
Wow.
There was a camporee up at Pageant Field, the Fuller brothers. If anybody's familiar with John and Buell Fuller, they were a couple of brothers, identical twins, lived up in Squantum, gave their entire lives to scouting.
Wow.
And they hosted a camporee at Pageant Field. It's called the American Heritage Camporee.
Okay.
So it was interesting that the theme was exactly the same, because they typically always have a theme. And this year's theme, if you will, was the President's Trail.
Right.
We're really kicking off the President's Trail. It's existed for a few years now, but this was the first massive effort to really hike the trail and experience the trail and hopefully put it on the map.
Neat. So where did all the scouts come from, Ray?
New England. We invited troops from all over New England. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody from Vermont or Rhode Island, interestingly, but we had troops from Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and certainly most of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ages and
12 to 17.
12 to 17.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, right?
Boys and girls,
Yeah.
exactly.
As
Yeah.
girls are part of scouting now. They're the overall umbrella of scouting.
And we
right?
had Girl Scouts, local Girl Scouts from Quincy participate as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
And they marched the President's Trail, right?
They marched the President's Trail. It's
Yeah.
a 5-mile loop all the way out to Abigail's Cairn and back. And we did something interesting. We had tour guides with them. We don't want to just sort of throw them a map and say, go get it, you figure it out.
Right.
So we actually spent months training guides. So each group of 25 would have 2 guides, a lead and a sweep. And they had a script that was approved by Bob Damon, the town historian.
Yes.
We also ran it by national parks and a multitude of other people to make sure that what they said was factually correct and they were not just sort of winging it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they guided them all along the 10 stops of the President's Trail, including going all the way out to Abigail's Cairn. We had some reenactors out at the Cairn, reenacting Abigail Adams, and also we had a John Adams at the birthplaces.
Very good.
So they really got a taste of living history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of pictures from the event, and I know that it was kept quiet beforehand, right? For safety reasons.
For safety
Is
and
that right?
security reasons,
Yeah.
we had 1,000 people on the field that were not locked in their homes. They were in a little nylon tent with zippers, and we just wanted to make sure that things didn't get out of control.
Yes, and I know there was plenty of oversight. The Sheriff's Department
Correct.
was
Yeah,
kind of a
Sheriff's
main
Department,
sponsor.
QPD, Quincy Police did
Yeah.
a fabulous job of providing service for us as well as a Norfolk County Sheriff.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Show and tell time.
Sure.
Yeah, you brought a bunch of
Fantastic.
pictures. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. My
Give
pleasure.
folks just a little behind-the-scenes look at what the Camporee looked like.
Yeah.
Look at the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater there.
Ruth Gordon Amphitheater was packed, which was really exciting. This is the opening ceremony where the mayor came to welcome everybody to the city.
Yep.
That certainly was a big goal of the event, was to welcome people to Quincy, get them excited about Quincy, hopefully coming back and bolstering tourism and engaging with the local businesses, but just to share the history so that people would know just how connected the city of Quincy is to the American Revolution and American history.
Absolutely. Yep.
So obviously the mayor did a great job with that. This is the mayor's daughter, Alana, singing the national anthem.
Oh, very good.
Yep. The mayor had a throat issue.
Oh, is that
so
right?
He couldn't sing.
Okay.
So he said, I brought the better voice. She did a
Very
great
nice.
job.
Looks like you had a beautiful day for the opening
We
ceremonies
did. It was
too.
glorious.
Yeah.
Yep. And then certainly part of camping with scouting is a gateway. So
Yes.
this group is building a gateway to identify their brand, what troop number they are.
All right.
So it happens I know this is Troop 19 from Littleton, Massachusetts.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And with that picture, you really get a sense for how close Pageant Field is to
the ocean.
coastline.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that it's been remodeled up there.
Yeah. So many leaders said to me, Ray, even if we did nothing, if we just came and camped, it would have been grand.
Exactly.
So many of our camporees are buried in the woods somewhere as the public doesn't see them. It's some
Right.
rocky place. They're like, this field is gorgeous.
Yes.
And you have an oceanfront view with a beautiful breeze and the smell of the ocean. It was exquisite.
Very
It was great.
nice.
So the one of the 3 goals of the camporee was community service. And so this is a group of scouts from 202 Topsom, Maine. And they are planting some of the 23,000 tulip bulbs. There were some azaleas and lilacs and daylilies in there, but it was about 20,000
Is that right?
tulips. This is what we call Diane's Island, or the berm on Marymount Parkway.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So come next spring.
Come next spring, the city of Quincy is going to see 23,000 flowers popping.
Wow.
Celebrating the 400th and
Yes.
celebrating Scouting.
Oh, that's a great
So we were
idea.
happy to give back in that way. 4,000 hours of community service.
Very nice, very
Yeah.
nice. It didn't just stay in Quincy, though, right?
Correct. We
Yeah.
moved around. Obviously, most of the event was at Pageant Field
Yeah.
and the surrounding parks doing community service. But we did do some shuttling out to, this is the Sheriff's Leadership Academy out in Braintree.
Yes.
And so those that wanted to go, we got them out there. So these are some scouts having a good time out there. The sheriff was incredibly supportive and provided the staff. This is one of our own 42 Quincy scouts having a great time on the zip line.
Is that a zip line? Okay,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
so. Yeah, very good. And more of the same, looks like.
Yep.
Now you have looks like older scouts helping younger scouts. Is that kind of the theme?
The staffer in the hoodie is actually part of the sheriff's department.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
part of his staff. We do have some of our teens that serve on his staff, but
Yeah.
this particular day we told him take the day off. We want you to be a participant and enjoy it.
Okay.
So he provided the staff. Now, in this case, this is a scout climbing at the quarries,
Yes.
and the two staffers that we see here are actually scouts that are all certified, level 1, level 2 climbers to provide the safety, and they provided all of the harnesses and anchors and made sure that everybody was safe.
It's a part of Quincy we sometimes forget about it.
Absolutely.
There's a huge rock climbing community
Absolutely.
that loves the quarries. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. And the kids coming from Worcester and Sabattis, Maine, and Torrington, Connecticut,
Yes.
had never experienced anything like this. So for them, it's brand new.
Yeah, we think it's just every day,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
nice to show off the city a little bit.
Exactly.
The parts in New
Everybody was impressed.
Yeah.
And great memories. So this is Tom Caulfield, one of our assistant scoutmasters, and he was actually teaching a merit badge, first aid merit badge, and he offered himself up as a potential victim for this young scout. I think he's won West Rocks, if I remember right, and he is demonstrating to Mr. Caulfield that he knows how to properly secure a damaged arm.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. It's good for both of them, for
Exactly.
the scout for trying it and for the volunteer for stepping up to offer his arm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is one of our tour guides, Kobe Kwong, and he was leading a group headed up Franklin Street, headed up to Abigail's Cairn, but he's making a stop here at the
Birthplaces. Yep, I see that. Yeah.
And so he is the lead. There's another gentleman in the back with a safety vest and radio, keeping everybody on track and going through the script and explaining. And then they would stop here briefly and either meet with the reenactor or with the rangers from
okay.
national parks and learn a quick taste of the birthplaces. We only had 4 hours to cover the 5 miles, so every stop was about 5 or 10 minutes. It was just a taste.
Keep it moving, yeah.
To keep it moving.
Sure.
And to give them an interest in coming back and
Exactly.
exploring Quincy more deeply.
Yeah, no question, absolutely. Well, you've got, the kids from all over New England, learning about the Revolution and how it
Exactly.
started right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw this picture, I said, I hope the fire department was on scene.
They were, and you can see the truck in the background.
Okay.
Certainly, that was the first call I made to the chief.
Right.
And he was very gracious and said, "Sure, no problem.
Okay.
We'll get you covered." And when it came time to do a bonfire on a beach, I thought no better group to call than the scouts from Howe's Neck, who have a deep history of doing bonfires on a beach.
On the 4th of July.
On the
yes.
4th of July,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So I want to give Troop 6 out on Howe's Neck credit for building this. I brought 100 pallets from work.
Okay.
I said, "How many do you need?" They did this beautiful, Revit design on CAD. "We need 100 to build a pyramid."
Wow.
And I said, "Great." So I dumped 100 pallets, and on Sunday they built this amazing structure, probably about 60 feet tall. And we gave it a little liquid encouragement, if you know what I mean. And it happened that afternoon. It rained.
Yes.
And so I had a leaders meeting about 6:15, and it was set to light off at 7. And the leaders were a little nervous whether it was going to happen or not. I said, "No, this thing's tall and hot enough that even in the rain, it's going to go."
And obviously.
And obviously, right at 7,
Yep.
the rain stopped. So it was perfect timing. We lit it, and there was just enough of a breeze to give it a little lateral movement there. But the fire department was there. They did a great job. And it was exciting. For most of these scouts, it's the biggest bonfire they've ever seen in their life.
I am sure, yeah.
and it worked
there
out
was
great.
a little engineering that went into the design of it, too.
Yes,
So it
exactly.
was also an educational
Yep,
experience. What
with some
beach was
thought.
that, Ray?
That is what I call Blacks Creek Beach. It's the backside of Pageant Field
sure.
that bleeds into Blacks Creek. I don't know if it's technically its name, but it connected a beach with
Yes.
Blacks Creek.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Very fun.
Yeah.
Now, part of the camporee included, you've brought some just some medals and some patches.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
If we could show.
Certainly part of the event was hiking the trail.
Yeah.
And so the medal and this patch are what the scout would earn for hiking the whole 5 miles and stopping at each of the stops.
Okay.
And learning about the trail.
Yep.
And the important role that Quincy played in the American Revolution. This is the event patch for attending the camporee. And then this is what we call the ambassador's patch. And this is something that a scout that would earn, that wanted to go above and beyond. Maybe they helped pick up trash, they introduced themselves to others, they just participated in everything.
Yes.
They were really engaged, so they
Okay.
would be like a model scout.
Very good.
So for those scouts that wanted to go above and beyond, they could earn that. And then this is what we call the jacket patch, a chenille jacket patch.
Just hold it up a little. There you
Sure.
go, yep.
And this is a patch that typically a unit leader would purchase and put on the back of their scouting jacket
see, okay.
as a memento of attending the event.
Yeah, very nice. So they get keepsakes.
Keepsakes.
Take
So I
with them,
wanted
yeah.
to point out the differentiation. The patch and the medal are something that goes in perpetuity.
Yep, there you go. Okay.
And so going forward, scouts can still come to the city of Quincy, hike the trail,
Yep.
and earn the patch and the medal.
Oh, okay.
The camporee, the ones that have the camporee designation on them, is a one-time.
Just for that event?
Just for this weekend.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So these are still available for
Still
scouts who
available,
want to
yeah.
earn
We
them?
have a website, presidentstrail.org.
Okay.
Similar to the Freedom Trail
Yes,
in Boston.
yes, okay.
Okay, but scouts, about 1,000, a little over 1,000 a year come to Camp Sayre,
Oh.
which is out in Milton.
Sure.
They hike the Freedom Trail, and then we want them to come to Quincy and hike the Quincy President's Trail.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Nice, very
So
nice.
there's a legacy component to the event as
Yeah.
well.
Speaking of legacy, you have brought with you a little piece of scouting history
Sure,
here
I-
in Quincy.
I
right?
had the good fortune of inheriting this photo from an old timer, an old scouter who's passed away recently, and
Yeah.
and his estate gave me a call. This is a picture of the first troop in Quincy,
Wow.
1919, forming together in front of the old town hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 1919.
That's insane.
It is. It is.
This is
it's really
right
a
after
fabulous.
World War I almost, and they still look like
Some World War I era
Yeah.
clothes. But for me, it speaks the story that scouting has been giving to the city of Quincy for over 100 years.
Right.
For over 100 years, scouts have been planting flowers or trees or doing community service, helping out with food and clothing drives, whatever. Each of these scouts, you would think, would be working towards the eagle.
Right.
And so there have been thousands of scouts over the years, over the past 100 years,
Yes.
that have been giving and giving and giving to the city. And it's been a great relationship. We're
Matter
so
of fact,
grateful.
the camera person shooting that picture is an Eagle Scout.
Correct.
Our own Chief Fred Shepard here on
That's
our
right.
volunteer staff. So.
Thank you, Fred. Shout out for 42.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that, Ray. That's
Sure,
really
my
neat.
pleasure. I thought it was a great nostalgia piece.
Yeah,
That
sounds
would
like
be
it was a really
interesting to see.
successful event.
In all levels.
Yeah.
For the city, for the scouts, for the chamber, for the sheriff, for everyone involved. I think it was a resounding success.
And I'm sure it'll be a big topic of discussion at the upcoming breakfast.
Quincy Mayor's Good Scout Breakfast,
Yes.
absolutely. A little segue, a little
Yeah,
pitch
yeah.
here. It'll be December 5th
Okay.
at the Terrell Room at the Elks at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
I can't announce this year's honorees yet.
Okay.
But we'll put it as a teaser to save the date. We'd love to have you buy a ticket and see you at the Quincy Mayor's Good Scout Breakfast on December 5th at the Terrell Room.
And that's an annual tradition in itself, right?
It is,
Yeah.
it is, yeah. You can see more of these pictures, by the way, on the QFOS, Quincy Friends of Scouting.org
Oh, good.
website.
Okay.
I believe you've done a little tag at the bottom
Yes.
here.
Yep.
So if you want to see more pictures, and also you'll be able to buy tickets to the breakfast at that same website.
At that same website, okay. What's the current, kind of status of scouting in Quincy, Ray?
Sure,
would you
the
say?
status of scouting
Yeah.
in Quincy is fundamentally we're down to 2 traditional Scouts BSA units, 6, Troop 6 out on House Neck,
Mm-hmm.
Pack 6, Troop 6, and then 42, which has a pack, a troop, and a crew. Pack
Okay.
is for elementary school age,
Gotcha.
Troop is middle to high school, and then we have Venturing, which is high school to college age. All of those programs are co-ed, and then on top of that we also have Girl Scouts, the GSUSA units. And there are probably about 150 Girl Scouts
Are there really?
involved. Yeah, and
Okay.
about 250 of the Scouts BSA. So all in, that's about 400 kids in
some
the city
form
of
of
Quincy are in some form of scouting, one of those 2 programs.
Yeah.
And Quincy Friends of Scouting supports both of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we appreciate the support and the opportunity to teach civic duty and citizenship, participative citizenship, and trying to become the best human beings they can be.
And if there are young people that still want to get involved with Scouting,
Sure.
how do they do that?
They can go to that same website,
Okay.
qfos.org. At the bottom of the page are links, hyperlinks, to take you to each of the different groups.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you
Truly
so
my
much.
pleasure, Joe.
It's a pleasure to shine the spotlight on Scouting in Quincy and on the Camporee.
Yeah.
Where's it going to be next year?
We're on a holding pattern,
Oh.
as Belichick would say. Just worry about this game.
Okay.
We had to get through this week. And also, we're really focused on celebrating Quincy 400 next year.
Certainly, yeah.
In support of the mayor doing that. And so I know that the field is already preoccupied for Columbus Day weekend next year. So we'll see.
Okay.
I won't say one and done. I won't close the door.
Okay.
But I will say it's a lot of work, and we want to keep it special. So maybe it'll be every 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay.
I don't know what the number is yet. I'm still recovering and getting my sleep from this one.
Understood.
And celebrating. It truly was a fabulous event, and
Yeah.
I think we succeeded in all of our goals. And we look forward to continuing to celebrate Scouting with the city of Quincy.
Well, thanks for stopping by and sharing with us. Appreciate it.
Truly my pleasure.
You are welcome.
Thank you for the time.
Just enough time to check the forecast for you. That's going to be a pleasure as well. Lots of sunshine with sunny, warm days and clear, cool nights. The temperature just goes up from today into the perhaps mid-70s here by Monday, staying dry through the middle of next week. So get out and enjoy it. Thanks again to Ray Theberge for joining us from the Quincy Friends of Scouting.
My pleasure.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. We are off next week. Join us again on October 28th. We'll welcome representatives from the Atlantic House Recovery Center here in Quincy. Meantime, you can head to our website. It's qatv.org. All of our latest programs are there with news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.